What's up everybody, this is 13 and tonight I am not going to lie to you, I am super excited on this build. This is for a 2001 to 2004 Infiniti QX4, which is a Nissan super fancy premium luxury edition. Nissan Pathfinder is the QX4. One of the particular parts of the QX4 that are unique to that vehicle and cannot be interchanged with the Pathfinder are the headlights. Now this is off of a 2001. These things are super difficult in order to get your hands on in good condition, and let me tell you, these were not in great condition. What makes these guys so super unique is that back in the day, this is about 20 years ago, this was literally the top of the line, cutting edge lighting technology being implemented on this. And so this projector, this oblong pill-shaped dude down there, that's a projector assembly, and that is not used for low beam. That was actually used for the high beam. And they had a reflector bowl up here, and that was used for the low beam. But wait, there's more. That low beam bulb was a D2R, which is a D2S base, but it has a little bit of a shielding on it. But the point is that's a HID system designed and implemented to be used in a rear reflector housing. So if you've ever read anything that I've ever written on the internet, or if you've ever listened to me go off on a rant, I will always say the phrase, never, ever, ever put an HID system in a rear reflector housing designed for a halogen bulb. I choose those words very carefully because there are very few instances, however there are instances, and this is one of them, where an HID bulb is used in a rear reflector housing. It's so super rare, and it's so exciting that I had this project appear in my shop, and man, it's so cool. This is a repeat client. He's done several builds with me, many projects. All praise be to December of Client Appreciation Month, because he's been waiting for like 6 months since the deposit went in for me to complete this build, and I am just so smitten that it's finally getting done and these projects are finally getting knocked out. So let me just do one quick little history lesson, because honestly I'm just so in love with this stuff. These are the OEM HID Ballast for the low beam assemblies. Again, about 20-year-old technology. And these are the OEM igniters, and then the D2S base that would plug onto the D2R bulbs. Super fancy, super awesome, super cool. I'll do a picture overlay of the original beam output pattern of this. It was okay. For the time period when it came out, it was super amazing. It was the best option available, which was so cool. And yet nowadays, it's just so obsolete. HID reflector bulb technology was very sparingly used. The HID, the bulb technology, went much further than the optical design technology, which was basically the ability to design a housing that could properly utilize the light output. Fast forward 20 years nowadays, and what we have are the Morimoto Mini H1 projectors, right there, running a full H1 bulb HID system. As you can see, we're running the square Gatling shroud, and we have Infiniti emblem etched on that, and then I took apart and shipped off that lower projector and etched that with the QX4 logo. So these things are super sweet. It's so rare that you get such unique shapes inside of a housing, so I just knew that I had to involve lens etching on this one. The client really gave me a lot of a free rein design build with this one. We kind of discussed some outlines, but ultimately he just left it up to me and entrusted me, which, God, I love him. He's so good to me. His one primary request, which was easily accomplished, is these housings originally have an amber reflector that goes in there. Truth be told is that just pops right out. There is no replacement for it. You can see, like, if real closely, you can see the hole right there and right there, which is where it used to click in. If we were doing paint work on this housing, I would have just filled those in before the paint job so you wouldn't see it, but since we're keeping it all chrome, those are just gonna be there. But I'm only pointing them out because I'm a stickler for details, and honestly, no one's ever gonna get up on that close, and if they do, then Jesus, what are they looking at that close for a 20-year-old car? Like, get out of here, man, you know? So next up on the mod list, let's talk a little bit more about that lower projector assembly, that high beam. It is a dedicated high beam. I disassembled that, as mentioned, etched it with the QX4 logo. But I removed some of the internal stuff. It was an interesting design. I can show you a picture overlay of, basically it had like a foreground limiter and an upper limiter, which seemed unnecessarily limiting the light output. It was a halogen high beam, which is pretty standard even on today's vehicles, but the usage of a projector assembly in order to limit the output was really unique, really cutting edge at the time. So what I did was I removed that internals that was restricting the light output, and I installed the Morimoto 2-stroke LED headlight bulb in that assembly. So it is just gobs of power, and it's just free for all, just it spills out all over the road, which is super great. Of course, it should be mentioned that the Morimoto MH1 is a bi-xenon assembly, so you're also going to have the high beam. The solenoid in there is going to allow the high beam HID. I already tied that in together with the high beam circuit of that guy. So basically when he flips on his high beam, we're going to get LED high beam instant on, as well as the HID high beam, assuming that's on. If the HID system is not on and he's just doing a flash to pass, this LED assembly is going to work great for that, because HIDs do not like being pulsed with power, so they don't make great standalone high beam bulbs. That's why you never see that from the OEMs. Alright, let's get into some of the really cool stuff on this build. I also installed 2 strips inside this housing. We got like about a 3-inch right there, and we got about a 6-inch right in there. Kind of going for like a bit of a cat eye look, but I think it really complemented the interior shaping of this housing, which is why I went for that particular style. Now the client's intention is actually to run these on amber full time, and that's going to be perfectly possible with this product selection. However, I'm going to demonstrate it how it's intended, which is basically running light white with switchback amber feature. So obviously right now we've got the running light white on. It's a really awesome even glow, and especially with this chrome interior, it just bounces all around, and it's quite difficult to actually tell where the light is coming from. The intended look is definitely getting achieved here, and I'm really pleased with the way this came out. Now let me show you that on amber. So check it out. This is it now in running light amber mode. This is what the client is requesting. This is super beautiful. Amber lighting does play a special place in my heart. I hate seeing amber reflectors, but man, amber bulbs and amber strips, they really do look good. Now this is possible to be wired up, like I said, as a switchback, so running light white, and it will blink amber with turn signal. Or basically you could, if you knew how to wire it up properly with a relay in line, you could have it as a running light amber and have it blink alternating with the factory turn signal. Okay, so that's that feature set. Let me go on to the actual lighting output of this thing, which is just so fun because, as I've said several times, we're bringing it up to date about 20 years. Now before I show you the lighting, I do want to show off this little acrylic bracket that I made in order to hold the aftermarket Morimoto 50-watt ballast. This is where the OEM ballast, they utilize that bolt, that one, and that one. And so what I did was I just made a nice little template and created this mounting bracket out of acrylic so it holds it nice and steady. This is all nut and bolt. This is all using factory mounting points, so it's super clean, super easy, and it's going to make it very, very plug and play for this mechanic to install. As I stated earlier, the high beam solenoid, which is this guy right here, rather than using those Y splitters, which adds a bunch of wiring, basically I just soldered in a female connector to plug in basically that, which will also go to your 2-stroke driver right there. So everything, again, pre-wired. Our outputs for the HID bulbs run into our igniter, which then go directly to the ballast, and our only input is this guy right here, which is going to run the HD relay harness, and this is color-coded orange to orange, blue, which will go to the blue on the harness, and then this is just for the bench testing using the battery, just to kind of show you what it looks like on the wall. Everything super, super easy. It's almost dummy proof, but I'm sure someone will find a way to install this incorrectly. Also, this is the LED driver for those strips, which I'm using a single driver rather than 2 separate drivers, despite the fact that there's 2 separate strips, because I, again, wired all of that internally to make installation as easy as possible. While we're on the topic of super above and beyond things that I did for this lens was not nearly as pretty. This is a beautiful looking headlight set for the age, and the reason for that being is I sanded that down super solid and then clear coated it. We're not talking about a buff and polish, we're talking about automotive grade clear coat. So this is solid. Yeah. Alright, so we got the HID system powered up, simply, like I said, plugging it into a battery so we can hot wire it, and I will show you on the wall that beautiful output that is the MH1. Super wide, super great hotspot, and a little bit more complicated is now I'm going to actually show the high beam because I'm really proud of this high beam. It's kind of insane. Okay, well this is the absolutely insane high beam output out of this thing. Again, that is the Morimoto 2-stroke LED in that projector assembly. Modified OEM, I should say. And also the ByThirteen assembly with the HID in it, with that solenoid engaged so the shield is dropped. High beam. Low beam? High beam. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoy and appreciated this super unique build and going down a little bit of a HID lighting technology history lesson. I know that I certainly enjoyed the whole process of building these and designing them. It has been a great pleasure, and I'm super excited to be finishing this up and checking off one more long overdue project for an existing previous client of mine in this beautiful Client Appreciation Month of December. Product and pricing information for this particular build will be in the video description, although I don't expect this to be a very popular set by any means. However, if you want yourself a QX4 retrofit completed by yours truly, you know how to get a hold of me. It's all in the video description. Just don't expect an answer anytime soon, because wowee, I'm already getting booked out for January and February right now. I absolutely love and appreciate my current existing client base, and I'm not going to lie to you, man, you're going to have to be real special to get onto that list. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Thanks again so much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.